Good morning, good morning, good morning. That was the amazing Bettman and Halpin. Stephanie Bettman and Luke Halpin, we're so grateful that you're back with us today, and you'll be hearing some beautiful music from them a little bit later in our service. So you're going to be blessed this morning, as I am blessed as I got to hear them rehearsing. So thank you for choosing to be part of our community this morning, joining us wherever you are in the world. We're so blessed to have you with us today. I want you to know that Unity Spiritual Center Denver is a loving, welcoming, affirming, inclusive community. We welcome you, whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey. And we really are hopeful that one day, very soon, we will open our doors again and invite you in to feel the energy of our space and the energy of our community. But for now, we welcome you virtually, and we're so glad that you're here this morning. So I invite you to say along with me our creed at Unity Spiritual Center Denver, and together we say, our God is love, our race is human, our faith is oneness. And so this morning I have a reading that I want to share with you from Eric Butterworth's book. If you're not familiar with Eric Butterworth, he was a Unity minister, a prolific writer, many books, a great teacher. And this is one of his most profound works as far as I'm concerned. It's called Discover the Power Within You. And this is from a section in the book called How God Forgives, which is quite interesting. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about forgiveness today, so I wanted to share this short reading with you. We may think that it is too much to expect of us that we forgive, love, and pray for those who despitefully use us. But if we know ourselves in the context of our divinity, we see that we have something to live up to. Paul says, quote, "As many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God," from Romans 8:14. This is to say that you have the potential of being a radiant expression of light, but you must have it turned on. We may have all sorts of reasons for turning the light off. We may have a perfect justification for our bitterness and anger. We may be completely righteous in our indignation. But we will have to pay the price of the broken connection of the divine circuits. The power that goes with our divinity is only ours when we act the part. We can have our unforgiveness and bitterness and anger if we so choose, but we will also have our stomach ulcers and nervous tension and heart trouble and mental and physical breakdowns. Turn on the light, not so much for the benefit of others, but for you. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. And so I invite you to join me as we lead into prayer by singing our song, Surely the Presence. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. And so I invite you to close your eyes if you're in a place where that's comfortable and safe for you to do. And take a deep breath, allowing that breath to draw your attention within. Allow the breath to bring your attention and your awareness deep down into your heart, beyond your physical heart, deep into the emotional heart, and beyond the emotional heart into the sacred heart. the Sacred Heart of the Divine that is at the heart of your being. And in that place of awareness of the heart of the Divine living and moving and having its life as you and as me, we come together in the realization that there is that one life, that one power, that one presence that lives as each of us, that lives as all humanity, that lives as all creation. And in that awareness, we know that we are one. We truly know our unity in and as and through that divine expression. And we know that in the purity of that divine expression, the purity of unconditioned love, we are filled. We are filled with the awareness. We are filled with the energy. We are filled with the consciousness of wholeness and vitality. We are filled with the consciousness of prosperity. And we are grateful for the awareness that that one life is the source of all that we could ever possibly desire. And it is right here and right now present, living in its fullness as each of us. And our willingness to claim it and to declare it is so brings it into our experience. And as we know it, as we claim it, as we allow it for ourselves, we do the same for each other. We know that truth. And in this moment, I invite you to bring to your mind and into your heart anyone that might be experiencing some imbalance or dis-ease or some situation in their life that is stimulating pain or confusion for them. And together we know for them, for each and every one, that this same truth is their truth. This same life is their life. And the same life is the source of their healing and their peace and their wholeness. And we are grateful for that awareness. For in truth, we know who we are. And we know the source of all that we need. And so in that awareness, we feel the gratitude. We feel the gratitude and appreciation, and we allow it to radiate and resonate through every aspect of our being. As we claim it, as we know it, as we allow it to be, so it is. Amen.
She said, Grandpa, how'd you get this far? Life's been so hard, I got so many scars. He said, simple, someday you'll see. It's not what you have, it's what you no longer need. The letting go. The tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go, the easier it flows. She said, Mama, he's leaving me. How will I live? How will I breathe? Mama said, simple, doctor said nothing. His mama kept crying. His daddy laid down and just wished he were dying. But in the quiet of their hearts, a little voice sighed. It's not how long you stay, it's how much love you leave behind. The letting go, that's the key. The letting go will set you free. The tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go. The tighter you hold on, the harder it goes. The more you let go, the easier it flows.
Thank you again, Stephanie and Luke, for that beautiful music. So inspiring. As I said earlier, it's just so inspiring for me today to be present in that energy of their voices and the music and the energy of that life, the energy of music that just flows through when you open up and just allow it to be. And I so appreciate that reminder today. Because in some ways, that's what I want to talk about today. As I said, I want to talk about forgiveness. I want to talk about forgiveness as an aspect of compassion. You know, we've been talking about compassion for the last few weeks, different aspects of compassion. And forgiveness is such an important piece of that. As respects self-compassion and compassion for other people. And I know there are many takes on forgiveness. There are many teachings about forgiveness. There are many people who have written books about forgiveness and have processes for forgiveness. And all of those are important. And all of those, I would suggest you research and find out more about them as you like and as you are resonating with those. Because, I think forgiveness is such a big piece of freeing ourselves. And that's really what I want to talk about today, is this freeing ourselves up to allow the flow of that life energy of the divine to move in us and through us and as us. So before I talk anymore, I want to invite you into a little experience. So if you're in a place now where you feel comfortable closing your eyes, if you're driving, please don't do that. But please, if you're in a place, I invite you to close your eyes. We're going to do a little exercise this morning that really comes from the HeartMath Institute. It's a coherence exercise. And so I'm going to invite you to take a moment, close your eyes, and just take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, I invite you to breathe down into your heart. Allow your awareness to move down into your heart, and just imagine that you're breathing through your heart. And now bring to mind someone or something or some place for which you can generate easy appreciation. Easy appreciation, it might be your favorite tree or your pet or a place that you go where you just feel so connected. And so I invite you to bring that to your mind right now. And feel the appreciation right there in the center of your heart. Allow that energy to well up as you hold this image of this person or place or thing for which you have great appreciation. And continue to hold that image as you breathe. And breathing in and breathing out. And as you breathe out that energy of appreciation, feel it just flowing over you, washing over you, blessing you, enriching you with this energy of appreciation. And as you continue to breathe all of that energy out from your heart. Breathe this energy of appreciation out to those who are in your immediate circle, maybe your family, your friends, your co-workers. And then breathe it out even further to everyone who might be here watching today. And all of the spiritual community, wherever you are. Breathe it out into your city, into the state, into the country. Breathe it out into the continents. And then all through the waters, the oceans and the seas, and all across the globe. And just feel that energy of appreciation moving out from you. And then breathe all of that energy now back, centered into your heart. All of that energy of appreciation. Just feel that flow of that divine energy of love and light flowing in you, through you, as you. And just revel for a minute in that space of being in the flow. And take a deep breath and open your eyes when you're ready. How did that feel? Did it feel good? Did it feel open? Did you feel your heart open and allowing of that energy of love and light just to flow through you, in you, through you, as you? That is our natural state. That is our natural state of being, where we're open, our hearts are open, and we're open to be the flow, and to receive the flow, and to allow the flow, to be the channels of that infinite light and love. So now I want to invite you into a little different experience. I want to invite you once again to close your eyes. Again, only if you're in a safe place to do that. So close your eyes once again. And now take a deep breath, breathing into your heart. Feel yourself breathing through your heart. And now I want you to bring to your mind someone or something that you have some resistance to. Maybe it's some resentment about. Maybe it is some blame or some judgment or some criticism that you have about someone or something. Maybe it's someone in your family. Maybe it's a situation in the world. Maybe it's an elected official. Maybe it's someone on television that you see on the news, or whatever that might be. Just bring that to your mind and feel the energy of that resentment and the criticism and the blame and the judgment that arises when you think of that person. Maybe it's somebody from your past that you still hold some resentment or blame or guilt about. Don't use yourself right now, just use someone else. Feel the energy of that. Feel what that feels like in your heart. Feel what it feels like in your body. Feel the tension. It may be tight in your chest. It may be tight in your solar plexus. But feel the constriction around your heart that arises when you hold this energy of blame or resentment or judgment or criticism. Those are all energies or states of unforgiveness that we might call unforgiveness. So feel the restriction and the constriction around your heart. And just take a deep breath, breathing into that. Don't extend that out to anybody, please. Just hold it for yourself for a moment and just be present in that. Feel what it feels like in your body. Feel what thoughts come to your mind. Feel the energy in your heart. Now take a deep breath, and I invite you to open your eyes. What did that feel like to you? Hopefully you felt the difference between the first exercise and the second, where there's this restriction and constriction around our hearts, in our bodies, the tension that arises when we hold these images of people that we have resentment for or blame for or some kind of criticism about. Again, it might be somebody in our past, it might be somebody we see on television, but we have that shows up. And so you see, that's what happens when we hold on to that energy. It's all energy. So which would you rather experience? Would you rather experience the natural flow and the openness and the light and the open heart that just allows that energy to flow? Or would you rather feel that tension of blame and shame and guilt and all of those energies that tend to block the flow of that energy? I'm hoping you're going to say, I would rather be in this energy of flow. Because again, I think I don't even think it, I know that is our natural state. But sometimes we get so caught up in this other state of being where we're holding all of that we forget. We forget that this is our natural state, and this becomes sort of our comfort zone, unfortunately. So what I want to share with you today is, how do we make the shift? How do we make the shift from this tension place that we often find ourselves in, and I'm guessing that many of us do today as we watch the news or we read the news or we listen to the conflicts that are going on in the world around us with people. You know, there are such divergent opinions, and we're just at odds with each other. And we're judging each other, and we're fighting against each other, and we're resisting things. And so it creates this tension, physical tension. And you know what happens when we continue to hold that tension and we continue to block the flow of that natural light is that we cut off, we can't cut it off completely, but we restrict the flow of that energy. And so we begin to feel mental tension, we begin to feel physical tension. And if we continue to hold it for very long, it begins to demonstrate in our bodies. It shows up as illness. And if we keep that restricted for too long and too tight a restriction, then we eventually will cut off our life flow. And I feel such a sense of that happening in so many ways in our culture today. We're so tight and tense and resistant and blaming and critical of each other that we are restricting the flow. And we're restricting that natural flow that is intended to flow through our hearts and connecting us with each other. So, again, how do we move from that place to this open place? Well, it's often called forgiveness. It's often called forgiveness. And I sometimes resist using that word because there's so much around that word. What is forgiveness? And there's so many teachings around that word. The most destructive teaching around that word I know of comes from some spiritual traditions that say you're just supposed to do it. You're just supposed to forgive. Just forgive. Just do it. Say you forgive no matter what has happened, no matter what is going on. Just say, okay, I'm supposed to forgive. To forgive is to divine. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to move on. Well, you know what? I don't think that really very often opens up that restriction. In fact, sometimes I think there's some resistance that is created from that teaching, from that idea that we're just supposed to do it. Anything somebody tells me I'm supposed to do immediately creates tension in me. I don't know about you. So how do we affect that shift? I'm calling it a shift. And you may remember a while back, I don't even remember how long it was ago, I talked about the holy shift. I talked about this idea of shifting. And I was reminded of that. I was thinking about this energy of forgiveness. And for me, it is restoring that natural flow. Forgiveness is a process through which we restore the natural flow of light and love and open-heartedness for ourselves and for each other. And it does require a shift. And I'm using that acronym again. I know I use a lot of acronyms, but it helps me to remember sometimes how to do this process. So SHIFT is an acronym, SHIFT. And the way I have identified that is self-awareness, honest reflection, intention, SHI, focus, and trust. Self-awareness, honest reflection, intention, focus, and trust. And I want to talk a little bit about each of those, hopefully just a little bit. So self-awareness is important for us, and we've talked about this in some of the other aspects of compassion, is that mindful presence, the self-awareness requires us to be present with what's going on with us. To recognize that we're in that tension place. To recognize that we have somehow allowed our heart to get blocked, by this criticism and blame and judgment and all of the stuff that goes on for us. And it's important for us to be mindful of that. Like I said, sometimes it becomes so much a part of our daily experience that we don't even stop to recognize it. And so it's important for us to stop and recognize, oh, I'm feeling tense, I'm feeling tight, I feel this tightness in my chest, this tightness in my solar plexus, I feel this tightness in my body. Maybe I'm feeling very tired physically, I don't have the energy I'd like to have. Possibly that's because we're restricting that flow. So it's important to be aware of that. What is going on with me? What am I feeling in my body? Where do I feel it in my body? What thoughts am I thinking in this moment? What emotions am I having? What is arising in my emotions? And to really be conscious of that, to be aware of that, to know what is going on with us is so vitally important. We cannot respond. We cannot really affect a shift until we become consciously aware that there's something that needs to be shifted. So it's important for us to check in with ourselves. Self-awareness. Honest reflection is also sometimes might be referred to in NVC as an observation. What's going on? What happened? What happened? And this is an interesting thing, is that sometimes somebody will say something or do something that's totally innocuous. Somebody will say or do something, and yet we are triggered by it. So it's important to reflect on that. What happened? And again, this could be self-forgiveness or forgiveness of others. What did I do? What did I do, or what did someone else do? And not just what did I do or what did I say, but what story am I telling myself about what I did or what they did? How am I interpreting what's going on? Am I able to just see it for what it is? Am I able to experience this is just what is and not have a story about it? Where did this come from? Is this something similar to something I've experienced in the past? So if you're looking at the RAIN method that Trish has talked about from Tara Brach, it's that investigation piece. What's going on in this? Where am I in this? What's happening? And to have honest reflection on that. To recognize when we're in a story, to recognize when we are projecting something onto someone. It may be so simple. Something happened for me the other day that, I'll just tell you, Jay walked into the room where I was. I had the blinds open, and I was reading and I was writing, and I needed the light, and he comes into the room and he lets the shade down. Simple, nothing major. Yet my story about it was, well, he obviously didn't care about what I needed or what I wanted. He didn't ask me if it was okay. So I had all this energy building up about me, about judging him, what he did and what he could have done and what he should have done. So you see what I mean? It's just, the observation was he walked into the room, he let the shade down. Simple, innocuous. Except in my mind, there was this whole story about it. He doesn't know this, so when he is watching this, hearing this will be news to him, but I'm sure that we could talk about it. So that was just a small thing, just a little thing, you see, just a little thing. That doesn't even compare to some of the big things that people do that can harm us or stimulate pain for us. But honest reflection, how am I engaged in this? How am I involved in this? So again, self-awareness, honest reflection, SHI, intention. I think I want to stress that our intention in forgiveness is to always, however we need to, come back to that place of an open heart. To have a clear intention, to always be open. Because as you experience, when I ask you to go through this exercise, doesn't that feel better? Doesn't it feel more freeing, more open, more alive, more energized when we're in that place of being in the flow? Being the flow of that divine life energy? That's what we all want. So it's important for us to be clear about that. Do I want this? Do I want this tension? Do I want the tightness of judgment and blame and criticism? Or do I want the openness of appreciation and light and love flowing in and through me? I think it's pretty clear. And so it's important for us to have a very clear intention. That is our intention in the process of what we're calling, or what I'm referring to, as the shift of forgiveness. So it's self-awareness, honest self-reflection, intention, it's H-I-F, focus. And focus for me really is a shift of focus. That when we are judging ourselves or someone else, we're focusing on the behavior. We're focusing on the words. We're focusing on what somebody did and our interpretation of what they did. My recommendation in the shift process is to focus instead on our shared humanity and our shared spirituality. Knowing that we all do things, say things that we wish we hadn't in hindsight. We do things in order to meet needs. We may not know the best way to do that. We may struggle to find ways to do that. We may struggle to find ways to communicate our intention and our highest intention. We may say things. Believe me, I do that. I still do it. I've done it. And I'm sure I will continue to do it. Say things and do things that don't embody my highest intention. We all do that. We all experience those things. Can we see, or be willing at least, to see beyond the behavior and to see through the personality to the light, to the true light and the Christ light that is the truth of all of us. Each of us is that light. So then to see that as well, to see our shared humanity, that we all experience these things, we all do things that we wish we hadn't done, we all do things to hurt other people or to stimulate pain in other people. If you haven't ever done that, then please call me and let me know how you have achieved that, because I think that's part of the human experience, and that we're all divine. We are all expressions of the divine, and so can we be willing to witness that, to focus on that, instead of the perceived cause of our discomfort. And then the last piece of that is trust. The last piece of the shift is trust. To trust that when we are willing to make this shift, to shift from this tension place, this place of blocked heart energy, love energy, to this place of openness, that you're not doing it for the other person. There's no way you can change the other person. You're doing it for yourself, and that we can trust that it may not happen instantaneously, it may not happen in our time frame, it may not even happen the way we want it to happen. But trust that if we are willing to do our work, if we are willing to shift our focus, if we're willing to truly be self-aware, to be honest with ourselves in our reflection of what happened and our part in how we're interpreting it, if we're willing to set a very clear intention to be and to return to restore the flow of that life energy through our hearts, and we are willing to focus on the shared humanity and the shared spirituality of each other, then we can trust that our willingness to do the work shifts the energy of the whole. That you changing your energy, you shifting your consciousness, and the energy that you are putting out will shift the situation. Again, it's not going to necessarily change the other person, but it might. If you are willing to open your heart and allow the pure energy of light and love to flow through you in your natural state, and flow through you to the other person, then you might be amazed at the shift that occurs in the other person. I'm not saying it's magic. I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying everything is energy. Everything is energy. And when you approach someone, I don't even care if you are in close proximity to them or you've never met this person. When you are in this kind of energy and you're blocking that flow of light and love, and when you are tight and tense and in that state of judgment and criticism, it doesn't matter where you are. There is no space and time in energy. Energy is energy, and it is felt wherever you are and wherever they are. It is felt, it is experienced. Trust me on that. It is all consciousness. So no matter where you are, it is experienced. What you put out there, you put out there. And so imagine if that is true, what is also true is when you open up and you allow that love to flow through you, you can trust that some shift is happening in the field of all energy, the field of consciousness. Again, it may not happen the way you would like for it to happen, but you can trust that something is shifting, something is moving because you have chosen to do the work of shifting your focus and your energy. And again, what I know about, it's not again, I hadn't said this before, but what I want to say about forgiveness and this process of shifting is that it most likely will not happen in an instant. It most likely will not happen just like that. It's a process for most of us. What I know about this process is that it may not always take time, but it usually will. And each of those steps along the way, the self-awareness, the honest reflection, setting a very clear intention, focusing, all of those steps along the way take as long as they take. It's not something to rush. Again, I don't ever want to come to somebody and say, well, you just have to do it. If you move through these steps, then you're just going to be done. You're going to be done with forgiveness, and you're going to be open and loving, and you're going to be the flow of that divine life energy. I'm not saying that. Please don't hear me say that. What I'm offering and suggesting is that it is a process. And it is a process that we do for ourselves. Forgiveness is not something we do for another person. It's something we do for ourselves, yet the other person may experience the benefit of it. And it also goes for self-forgiveness. It's something that we can release that energy of guilt and shame and self-blame for something we may have done in the past, something we may have done that may have stimulated pain for somebody else or hurt somebody in some way. Because when we hold that energy, again, we're blocking the flow. We're blocking the flow of energy for ourselves. And when we block it for ourselves, we're blocking it from the world, from other people. So forgiveness is a very powerful spiritual practice. And there are many ways that you can engage in this practice of forgiveness. There is Colin Tipping's radical forgiveness. There is Ho'oponopono, which is a forgiveness practice. There is the forgiveness practice that Desmond Tutu, and I'm sorry I don't remember his daughter's name, the book that they wrote about forgiveness. There's a process of forgiveness in that. You can use this process of shift to make the shift between that block state and the open state. But I just encourage you to allow yourself, to give yourself the gift of forgiveness. To give yourself the gift of opening your heart and allowing the flow of that divine love to flow through you. Because you receive the benefit of it. Just like when you are in that tense space and you're blocking the flow, you have the tension, you have your body responds to that. You begin to have heart constriction or some constriction in your body, and you feel the illness and the tiredness of that. Likewise, when you are open, I believe when you're open and allowing the flow of that life, that every part of your being benefits from it. I believe you can experience better blood pressure, better heart rate, better health, better well-being, better vitality, better alertness. And so again, it's energy. It's all energy. And so I encourage you to just practice, find a practice, to allow the practice of forgiveness to help you experience compassion. Compassion for yourself. And yes, as you give that compassion to yourself, you are more readily available and willing to give it and share it with someone else. And so together, as we come together in that space of compassion, we can heal this energy that's going on in the world around us. We can come together in the space of forgiveness and compassion and come together to co-create a world that is more loving and peaceful and harmonious. And isn't that what we all really want? A world of peace and love and harmony. I believe it is. And so I believe it is ours to do. One by one, two by two, we can make it happen. And compassion is the key. So, I think that's all. Thank you for listening. So now I invite you to join me in a time of quiet contemplation and meditation as we take a breath. And once again, I want to invite you to take a breath and breathe into your heart space. And allow the breath to open up that heart space. To feel that heart just opening up and allowing the heart space to open to the flow of divine love, unconditioned love, your natural state of being. And as you open up, once again, I invite you to allow that energy of love just to wash over you, just bathing you in love. And I invite you, as you bathe yourself in that divine love, just feel the energy, how good it feels to be that radiant being of love. And extending that love now out into the world, touching hearts and minds, healing the divide that sometimes is created when we're blocked in that tight, intense space. And so feel that light going to someone for whom you have had some judgment. If you're willing, and only if you're willing. Maybe it's a small thing right now. Maybe it's something someone did or said that just hurt your feelings a little bit. Don't try something really big. Just allow yourself to practice extending love to that one. Maybe it is your partner, maybe it is your child, maybe it is your neighbor who said or did something that just struck a nerve. And just see that light just extending out to him or her, to them. And see the energy just being restored in the flow of that love. Again, not trying to change the other, just opening yourself up to the flow. And so as we go into a short time of silence, I'm going to invite you to bring to mind something or someone for whom you have had some judgment, maybe a little bit bigger than I just invited you into, and see how you can open yourself up to be in that space of forgiveness where you are being that light and love. So in the silence, just bring to mind, bring to your awareness that one or those ones. Feel the love. Feel what's going on with you right now. Feel yourself reflecting on what happened, what is happening. Is there a story there? Is there some projection there? What meaning are you assigning? Come back to your intention of being the love, being in the flow. And focus on that person or those persons' divinity, the light that they are, and the fact that we are all human, and that we're all doing the best we know how to do in any moment. And trust that your willingness to make the shift will make a difference, will begin to heal and open your heart and to heal the consciousness of humanity. And so allow that love to extend out as much as you can, as much as you're willing. And then just breathe all of that love back into your heart. And just see it flowing easily and effortlessly through you. Knowing that love is the truth. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. So take a breath. Breathe into the awareness of that truth. There is only love. And you are a divine expression of that love. So breathe in, awaken wherever you are, and back into this time and space experience. And so I invite you now to prayerfully consider your support, your gift, your financial contribution to this ministry. There are many ways for you to do that: online, by text, by mail. And we so appreciate all of you who continue to support this ministry, even though you're not here in person. We know your commitment, we know your connection, and we so value that. We are a community, and it really does take all of us continuing to come together in that way to support and to know and to ensure the continuance of this ministry. And so thank you. So now let's say our offertory blessing together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful.
True love showed up today as the misty early light of the morning. My own true love just came my way. To my surprise, without any warning, I was lying in my bed with voices in my head, remembering the feeling of you. But a new voice came along and said in simple song, my love for you is faithful and true. I've been praying night and day that he would come my way to comfort me in all my disillusion. Always hoping he would show, and then I'd finally know the feeling of a love without confusion. It is so. It is so. For my own true love showed up today. In the misty early light seeped through my curtains. My own true love just came my way to ease my worried head that was hurting. I was lying in my bed with voices in my head when a new voice showed up to say, I will never let you go. I wanted you to know your heart and mine as one will always stay. Your worries are all gone, for I will keep you strong and comfort you in all my disillusion. You have all that you need. My love has set you free, and loneliness is just illusion. It shall be. It shall be. My own true love showed up today. It's a misty early light of the morning. My own true love just came my way, to my surprise without any warning. But I'm surprised to see he's not who I thought he'd be. He's not a handsome lover 6 feet tall. He's not tall, dark, and strong. Now that he's come along, to my surprise, he's not a man at all. And the irony of truth is lost to us in youth, in the struggle and the fear of self-discovery. And what I believe I'm finding is permanent and binding, and I think my heart will make a full recovery. We shall see. We shall see. For my own true love showed up today to heal my wounds and set my heart free. My own true love just came my way. He's not the man I thought he would be. No, siree. He's just me, my own true love is just me.
So once again, Stephanie and Luke, thank you. Thank you for being with us. We look forward to the next time you're here. Such beautiful music and musicianship, and we are so blessed to have you with us today. So now I invite you to join me as we say our closing prayer. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. And now I invite you to join me as I lead us in singing our closing song, Love Can Move the World. Love can move the world as the moon in the sky moves the sea. Love can cause the wars to cease. Love can move this world to peace. It's a tide that begins with you and me. Love can move the world as the warmth of the sun moves the trees. Feel the winds of love increase as we move this world to peace. Come, love the world with me.